So with the inpatient treatment center, I've been to a few when I was a teenager, and then another one when I was in my 20s. Um, for me, inpatient treatment center is kind of, in my opinion, thought of as the thing that people should go to when they have a drug and alcohol issue. And for a lot of people, that's totally a doable thing, but there's a lot of barriers with that, and I was privileged enough to be able to get into that and have the resources with that. When I got there, I thought that just going to the inpatient treatment center would be enough for me to be fine getting out, but I didn't really consider that like addiction and substance use disorder is more or less an anxiety thing with me where I can't cope with life normally in certain situations, or that I have this kind of void in myself that doesn't go away even when I'm off of drugs. Like I have to fill it with something, usually something meaningful in my life to get away from that. And then after that, then life is great. But with inpatient treatment centers, um, it doesn't necessarily work for everybody, and for me, it didn't. And even when I got out of the hospital and had all that experience and the hundreds of thousands of medical bills, and all the skin grafts and surgeries, I was on methadone prescribed to me and a bunch of other stuff after that, and didn't really have a plan, and then relapsed again after that for another month or two. But eventually it didn't take inpatient treatment center to actually get off again. I started doing a normal thing, mostly with social support systems and stuff, and was able to get through it. But I think the inpatient treatment center is good for people that don't have the knowledge or resources, um, to kind of know how addiction works, and to kind of look at it more in a medical way rather than a moral failing. Because a lot of people think that they're just bad people and can't get it right, or other people in the community think that drug users are just bad people that are choosing to do this. But then when you look at it from like the medical and physiological perspective, you can understand why people are doing that. So I think that for that reason, it's really useful. But even then, inpatient treatment centers have success rates in the low single digits, so they can't be the only thing that people are doing. And most people I know have been there numerous times, just like I have. Um, so I definitely think it was useful for me, but I don't think it's crucial to get off of drugs. You don't have to go to an inpatient treatment center necessarily to do that, but if you have those resources and the privilege to do that, it's a good option. But I think there's a lot of other things in the interim for people that can't do that to be able to start thinking about dealing with their substance use disorder on their terms. Because that's what, for me, when I was always forced to go, that's people would tell me I had a problem, or I was kind of dependent on other people for my well-being, and they kind of forced me to go into inpatient treatment center. And when my mindset was in that way, I was really ambivalent towards it and didn't really want to do that because I was still getting a lot of positive benefits from the drug use. There were negative aspects too, but for some reason, when I was forced to do it, it was usually not at that same period where I was ready to do it. And I think that's really crucial for somebody to be at that place. They need to actually want that for themselves also.